Our form's all over the place. We've just had a fantastic youth intake, and we could sneak into the playoffs. So let's get on with the episode. So as you can see, we did have a great intake of youth players. George Jenk being the highlight of them all. His personality is mercenary. He has really great stats for an attacking midfielder. His vision is outstanding. Flair, brave. It just looks great. 4-star potential already, 2.5 star at 15 years old. He is going to be an absolute fantastic player. I'm not sure how long we can keep him here, but we will try. We then got Matt Purry. He is unambitious. We did manage to tie him down to a contract. He still looks good. He's got great composure, decisions, anticipation, off the ball movement, good finishing. Personality does let him down a lot, but how much that affects us at this level we'll find out. Brian Knight also looks quite good. He's fairly sporting, really good stats for teamwork, work rate, composure, anticipation, good strength, first touch and finishing. Looks a really good option for striker. We didn't really have a backup before, so we're going to try and bring him into the team a little bit as well. Adam McLennan, really good pace, again great teamwork, work rate but unambitious. Mark McDonald, again unambitious but quite good stats. And Albion Rovers seem to have a decent youth system. So in this squad actually, for today, we can already see that Matt Purry's in the subs bench, as is George Jenks. If we quickly go to our schedule, we've had a funny little roundup of games. So when we last played, it was around here, it was Edinburgh City and Kelty Hearts. We lost both games. We then since gone on to win 4 games in 5. Our main loss being against Annan, who have crept above us in the table, and we'll have a look in a moment. We beat Elgin, Stranraer, Stenhouse Moor as well, all 3-0. Quite funny. But we've got Stirling and Cowdenbeath to end the season with. In terms of the league, we need Annan to lose both these games for us to creep into 4th place and sneak a playoff spot. We have been 3rd place for form in the second half of the league. Annan are actually further down in 6th place, but they do remain in that 4th spot. If you look at their schedule, we can see that their game, they'll actually only have 1 game, and it's against Kelty Hearts, which they could lose. Which means if we can grab 2 wins from these games, it's possible. It's really possible. So let's move on to tactical meeting. I would have loved to have had Hyde for this game. We're actually making a few changes, so Robinson's been playing again. He's only 2-star, however. You can see from his last 5 games he's been performing really well. Lewis Wilson also come in that left hand side, been performing great. Again, only showing 2-star. Both of these though have pretty high potential. So 4-star potential, Lewis Wilson. Not a lot of potential. That's changed recently. That's a shame. McVeigh come into that central midfield role, and we'll keep our usual front 4. I don't want to make too many changes because the team has been going well. You can see it from the form. And when we try to play those youngsters, although they're better players, somehow we're struggling to win the games. We've been drawn and losing them. It may just be the inexperience. We'll head into this one. We really need to win this game if we have any opportunity of sneaking that playoff spot. It's not us that have the first opportunity, but we come down the left hand side now. Stock gets into Smith. Wilson, it's a deflection, but it doesn't go in. Carrick now comes forward, it's Bikey. Carrick again. He gets in, but Benny makes a great save. They have a corner though. Here comes Giorgio. Gets into the ball. Grant tries to get there, but we head it clear. Stirling are in 2nd place at the moment. This is not going to be easy by any means. And a draw is not enough unless... Well, actually, simply a draw is not enough. Robinson heads it to Wilson. Gets the ball to Smith on this left-hand side. Smith keeps going down though. He gets into Donnelly. It's a nice ball played in there, and Donnelly does finish. His scoring boots are back on. Great piece of play here. Smith fires that ball in. It's a nice height for Donnelly to control it. Gets it down onto the volley. 1-0 to us. Takes us up to 52 points now. That's a nice long ball there through. Giorgio collects it. Plays it back to Omar. Omar just outside the box to Grant. All the way back to the defence. They're working it back in though. McDonald comes down this right hand side. cuts through our box, over to Giorgio, back out to McDonald, gets it into Bikey. Bikey heads it, but it's just wide. 43 minutes in, Stirling have had some great opportunities, but we have a corner. Zubaidi scores from the corner. It's a near post corner. We actually haven't scored many of them at all this season, not since the very early games. But he gets up high, beats his marker. 2-0. Not going to make any changes to the side yet. Going to send them back out. They're performing well. Smith, Donnelly, Zubaidi and Riley really coming to their own. McVeigh's even having a good game. Long ball again to Mackin. It goes all the way over a defence. Mackin gets through. He puts it wide though. Very poor effort from him, but I'm grateful that it was. It's a corner now. Giorgio whips in the corner to Mackin, but we head it clear. Omar outside the box to Leitch. Beike gets the ball and he smashes a really good effort into the right hand corner. Looked like we'd done enough to clear this effort. It's out to Omar here. Leitch. Beike then, and actually goes onto the left hand side of the goal. Benny could have possibly done a bit better there. It looks like he was a bit scared of the power that was in that shot. And we need to make some subs now. We're actually tiring more than Stirling. Mackenzie can come on, our young 16-year-old. Linus, who is still in the grump, can come on. He's really affected the club atmosphere by being unhappy. Now it's Linus on this right hand side. We're throwing to play it to Stott into Wilson. Wilson over to Smith, but it's a poor ball. Stirling have an opportunity to counter on us. It's a nice ball to Carrick. He gets in, but Benny makes a great save. Zubaidi picks up. And we do manage to clear it. We get 10 minutes to go. It's a nice ball in, and they score. Mackin scores, and they destroy our hopes at the moment. We have to go all out attack here. Wilson all the way over towards Mackenzie. It's cleared though, over to Beike. Carrick has a chance now. He runs, he plays to Mackie. Back out to Carrick. He's through. Can he win this for Stirling? He doesn't. It's a wild shot over the bar. That would have been enough for them to destroy all their optimism. Is there one more chance for us in this game? Here comes the corner in towards the near post, but it's cleared. Back out to Mackenzie. Mackenzie can get the ball in? He plays it to Smith. Smith back out to Riley. We have men in the box. Smith plays it in to Stott, but I believe Stott is offside and it's not going to count. The whole three of them, I think, were still offside. In fact, 4 of them were offside. They never even made an attempt to get back on. If they had, that could have been it. And it's game over. We succumbed to a 2-2 draw here. Stirling got the better of us. They were the better team. We didn't deserve to win the match, in all honesty. And that means that our playoff hopes are over. We're 4 points behind Annan. And if we just got into some form and not had that really bad period in the second half of the season, we would have leapfrogged them. So there might not be much left to play for this season, but we will play that last game against Cowdenbeath, who are bottom of the table, where we were supposed to be. And if you look at the big picture, considering we're relegation favourites, we've come a long way to be mid-table in only one season. We need to work on consistency of both finishing and defending. And I think we've got a bit of work to do in the transfer market too. So no one can catch us in the league. And in that case, we're going to play some of these youngsters. So Mackenzie's going to come into the squad, as is George Jenks. Purry also going to be in that striker role, and we're going to try and get on. Oh, he's ineligible. That's all we can fit. So it's a completely youthful side that we're going to go with. We're going to have Binny in goal, Slattery on the left, Ewan in the central defence, alongside Elzabedi and Smith, McVeigh and Riley in midfield, Scott, Jenks and Mackenzie up front, and Purry as the attacker. Cowdenbeath have the first opportunity to attack, but Slattery uses his pace and gets in front of the forward. Smith now to Elzabedi, all the way back to Benny. Plays out to Smith again, to McVeigh, to Scott on this right hand side. Smith again, to Scott, to Stott, back into Jenks. Perry now, Mackenzie collects it, and he shoots and he scores. 1-0 to Albion Rovers. Within 2 minutes, the youngsters all combined there in the front. Scott got it into Jenks. Jenks played it Perry, and Perry gets to Mackenzie. Well onside too. Great little bit of play. And if we do win this, we're only 2 points behind Annan, which is really frustrating. Such a tease to be that close to the playoff. I think what I learned from the Fiorentina save was not to make drastic amount of changes to the squad, and I think we have quite a good squad here. It's about keeping the ones that we've got together who are the good ones, getting rid of some who didn't perform, but ultimately trying to build up that cohesion so that we just play really well and we go into next season as good as we sort of ended this one. As Mackenzie gets his second goal of the game, 2 goals for him, 2 goals in the game, 2-0, looking good. Again, Stott was involved. Great little bit of play there. I think Mackenzie only got the barest of touches. Is that a Smith goal? It does go down as a Smith goal. 20 minutes gone. To Jenks again, he's involved. Slatcher on his left hand side. And to Stott, Riley's there to collect the ball as it comes out. McVeigh back to Stott. Elzabedi getting a touch. Out to Smith. Smith plays it into Perry. Perry gets his first goal for the club. His first start. 3-0. And unfortunately it's disallowed. Again, no chance here. Mackenzie from the free kick. Ewan heads it back towards Riley. And Riley puts it in the back of the net. Nice little bit of play here from the free kick. And Riley just does enough to beat those defenders. We need to concede a lot less goals as well next season. But we're doing really well here. So 12 shots, 7 on target. Controlled the match. So we'll send it back out in the second half. Just do the same, please. All the way back to Ewan now in defence. Riley, Mackenzie. Mackenzie comes forward. Comes down this left hand side all the way to the byline. Gets the cross in. Stott comes in from that right wing position to finish off the move. 4-0. We look much better in the mid-table team. I just want to see us build now in this next season. Be a lot more consistent. I think while we're here and we're doing so well as well, if we look at the tactics, you'll see when we went through that bad period, I actually made some changes. They didn't work, so I went back again, made some more changes. So in possession, we're focusing that play down the wings. This is a wing tactic. We're a little bit wider and we're slightly shorter in passing directness. It was here, slightly more direct, but I've moved it down because the balls are just running out away from our striker. We weren't really keeping the ball. The tempo was high, but not extremely high. In transition, we're playing that out to the flanks, but I never selected any distribution type. And also, when we were playing around with this had come back to lower line of engagement. I moved that to standard line of engagement again and kept that more often. And since then, we have went on a better amount of form. McVeigh in central defence there. Out to Stott again. Stott is taken out by Barr inside the box. That could be a straight red. Not, it's just a foul. We get a penalty. Perry now, chance for his second goal of the game, and he takes it. He makes it 5-0. What a day to remember for him. We could have a star in our hands between these youth players that have come in. Cowdenbeath an opportunity here. Miller plays it to Todd. Back to Miller. Chooses to go to Collins. All the way out to the right hand side. Pollock. Back to Collins. Todd again. McIver. Quite a composed bit of play for the relegation place team. Collins smashes it into the back of the net. It's 5-1. And I think we still have some changes that we can make. Actually, we've got all the changes that we can make. So we'll bring on Alfie Robinson, Jamie Leslie on instead of Riley, and Linus on for Smith. Just for a bit of freshness. It doesn't really matter now. 5-1 up. If we were to concede 6 goals in the next 12 minutes, that would be absolutely crazy. We completely dominated that game. Jenks, Perry had a great game, as did the other youngster Mackenzie and Ewan. All fantastic. It was the rest of the team that weren't quite as up to spot. Left back is really a position which I need to sort next season. It's not been good enough. You can see we actually ended up 1 point behind Anna in the end. If we'd won that game before against Stirling, we would have been in here. They lost their game against Kelty Hearts. It's unfortunate. For our final position, we received 57.5k. And here is our end of season review. Our new arrivals, Elzabadi was signed before I arrived, did well. Aidan Smith was my signing from Annan, came in, did really well. Ryan Donnelly, the striker who we signed, came in, done a fantastic job. 41 appearances and 29 goals. The 17-year-old we signed from Rangers, Ewan, did okay. Hyde did reasonably well in midfield. Ryan Stott was great. At 33 years old though, he is not going to last much longer, and everyone else is pretty much average, especially Slattery, who I would not sign. 28-year-old left back was not really good enough. We ended up in 5th place, just 1 point off that playoff spot, which is really so teasing but frustrating. We didn't quite make it. You can see we started the season okay, we then had a really miserable spell where we lost all these games, 5 games in a row. We started to turn it around again here at Forfar, but then we had Kelty Hearts as a double header, lost to them. It looked like it was going to go well again at this point, where we started winning and drawing again, but then we turned around and lost 3 games in a bounce, eventually ending the season on good form again. So it's been a bit erratic how the form has gone, and if we could have tidied up any part of the season, we would have been in a playoff spot, but it wasn't to be. Scottish Cup, we get knocked out by Motherwell, that's all the way in the 5th round. Seeing us beat EK, Erdrionians, and Linlithgow Rose. Again, we get knocked out in the group stage of the Premier Sports Cup. That was the first stage. We lost all the games, but these are Championship teams and League 1 teams. And knocked out of the SPFL Trust Trophy in the first round by East Fife. It was not a good time at this point. We have had some moments to remember, which is our last game of the season against Cowdenbeath, which was 5-1 victory. When we actually beat Stirling with Stott and Donnelly scoring, that's when we were on that good run of form. I think we've done really quite well with the finances this season. You can see that. We got a lot of prize money. We haven't really managed to do anything with the reputation yet. We never really got that far in any cups to help with that. And at this level, it's not likely to move up until we start going up the leagues. Here is how we lined up. We had Linus at right back, who was really good for a long time, but then got unhappy, affecting the whole club morale. Elzabadi and Robinson did really well in that centre back position. Robinson's an up and coming player, so he's got a lot of development ahead of him. Wilson was on the left back role. Riley and McVeigh played in that central midfield mostly. Stott, Wilson and Mackenzie were great up front, better than those ratings suggest. And then Donnelly was a real firepower in that attacking position. We managed to win a Manager of the Month twice for January and April. Fans Player of the Season is Elzabadi. Alfie Robinson did well too. Aidan Smith was the signing of the season, I would agree with that. Donnelly, 29 goals for a 30-year-old experienced striker. Done really well for us, and we would be very far off without him. Let's see what the club vision and expectations are for next season. It is to finish mid-table. I would hope that we could do a lot better than that. I would really want to be at least in playoff spot, if not trying to fight for that title, but we could see how far ahead Stirling and Kelty Hearts were ahead of us. That is the main thing thereafter, and then to be in the playoffs for the season after. I can accept those terms. Our unhappy Aaron Linus is actually one of the team leaders. That's a little bit of a problem. And you can see the finances as well. Finishing that season, we are back up into a really positive balance here, 155k. Quite respectable actually for a Scottish team in League 2. We have work to do on the wage budget to reduce that, unless we get an enhanced wage budget. I'm not sure if we're going to get those before I finish this video. We'll have a quick look to see if we do. I have a lot of contracts to fix, but here are the budgets for next season. So they have increased the wage budget. They've also given us a small transfer budget. So we see we're now well within that wage budget. We've got another £400 roughly, and we've got 20k to spend. We're definitely going to use this. Whether or not we use that or we just adjust the budget to get a bit more of this again, we shall see. But it's good to see that we're going the right direction, and I think this is where we're going to leave this video. The next video is going to show how we got on the transfer window and the first couple of games of the next season. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, please give the video a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching.